Hello. I want to talk about a couple of things. First, I want to say I cannot come back into the chat rooms. I just can't because I am just too sensitive for that. Okay. I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. I howled last night after I turned my computer off. The cruelty is making me infinitely sad. The violent expressions in the chat room is making me infinitely sad. I cannot come back in there. I'm sorry. I have to protect myself. I want to heal my mental illness. I want to heal. I don't want to suffer anymore. What happens there is it just tears open my childhood trauma. The feelings of being rejected come up, and it feels absolutely horrible to be rejected, to be constantly feeling battered down and rejected. And I don't want that anymore. I'd rather sit here in total aloneness and quietness instead of talking to people who are bullying me and who are trying to make me feel suicidal. Okay. I cannot continue like this anymore. Cannot do it. I have given my all to share what I know with people. I continue to do this with my videos, of course. Tomorrow we're gonna go on a long trip, probably for months, maybe longer. I will be making shorter videos then. And Facebook crashed also today. I thought it was the hacker, but then I saw this has to do with some political things. This has to do with Facebook itself, with something that was going on Facebook. Greed things where one woman was blowing the whistle, and then because of that they shut it all down. I guess they shut it, the reason why they shut it. Probably maybe someone from Facebook shut it down. And they blame it on some kind of Chinese hacker or something. I don't know, I'm just guessing. So that they can quickly fix all of this now before it's going to be investigated. Because they like to have, they don't care who comes there. They could be little girl groomers, who come there, who lure little Western girls into the Middle East to rape them and put them into child prostitution rings. I don't know about Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know if he even thinks about these kind of things. I have no idea. But it's a large corporation now, okay, where there's a lot of greedy people in it who all profit from the more people the better. They don't care whether that's groomers or rapists or whatever. So this one woman, apparently, according to what Paul said, she blew the whistle and then they shut it down so that they can probably eliminate all of this, all of the evidence or whatever, before they turn it back on. But so but in regards to the chat room, it's just way infinitely sad. Okay, it makes me howl, it makes me cry, it tears open my childhood wounds, it tears open the rejection over and over again, and the hater seems to like it. The hater seems to be doing rejection in order to do narcissistic repair, in order to think he has power over other people. I thought about this under the shower. Made me cry again. It's an act out. That's not love. That doesn't move your life forward. It doesn't make you friends. It doesn't make anyone feel good. Again, from the sky perspective, I care about you, I love you, I love all of you, I care about all of you. I see this as tragic. I wish you the best for your life, I really do. I'm not a god, I have feelings, I have trauma too. The trauma gets torn up, comes into consciousness. It's too much suffering. My mother rejecting me, bullying me, trolling me, hating me, that comes up. All of that, Then I start to get mad at my mother again because of the hater. And I don't want that anymore, I'm sorry. I really don't. I'm so through with my mother now, Don't bring my mother up, please, anymore. So now I wanna move forward with my life. I really do, I care about you. I love you from the sky perspective, not romantically. Okay, you have been so cruel to me. Okay, and you should understand that. You should understand that consciously, cognitively. Okay. Please understand it. Don't go into resistance over this. It has no sense. Okay. You know what you did. You know how you acted. You have no remorse at all. You don't feel sorry. You don't feel compassion for me at all. You only see yourself. You're in that state of mind. So that is a toxic state of mind. Okay, very, very bad to other people. It hurts people's feelings. It makes people feel depressed and sad. You terrorize that chat room to the point where I can't even talk to my oldies, my old friends in there anymore. It's just, we're bombarded by your troll accounts, by your hate. I try to help. I don't know how much you can accept from the help that I give, from sharing the stuff with you, also about my own life. But I think instead of using that for yourself, I think that you and all psychopaths, when they see someone sharing something vulnerable, instead of appreciating, you hijack the vulnerable points and you turn the knife against the very person who shared. You abuse their openness against them. And that's infinitely sad, and that's part of your act out. I don't know how to reach you. I try to reach you. I don't think you are willing to accept that. Because the ego doesn't want to accept that he did anything wrong. The ego wants to think he is smarter and better and tough or whatever, knows more, or dominates, is powerful, whatever, you know. The ego wants to tell himself, and because of that, he doesn't accept any kind of advice from anyone else. It's an act out. I don't know if you can see this cognitively, if you can become consciously aware about it. I offered this help to you. I cannot make you accept it. It's your life. You can only do that for yourself. I cannot be your friend as a person in any way. It will never work. If I saw you, you would beat me, rape me, incarcerate me, kill me. That's what you would do. You have hatred for me. Even though I was extremely nice to you and loving, you trampled down on everything I offered to you. On the love, the help, the compassion, you trampled down on all of that. I have to protect myself, okay? I am on my healing journey. I want to heal myself. And it's very difficult to heal when someone in the present time perpetuates that same hurt from the past. Where I feel like I have to meander my way past landmines with you when I talk to you. To be like super careful what I say all the time. I can't do that. I'm being myself. You know. I have to say what I have to say. I have to share what I have to share for other people. There are people who do get help from my videos. They told me. And my videos are helping me while I make it. It's very important for me, like the video yesterday. It's very important for me to go through this, to cry through this, and not be in resistance towards that flow of life. Flow of life means I'm no longer standing in resistance. I'm no longer acting from ego. We all get into ego here and there. And that happens very quickly, you know, to some extent. But I don't want to do that anymore. Okay? I want complete authenticity and wholesomeness in my life. And honesty. Honesty to myself, okay, and everyone around me. And that's the only path that we have. I want to go into my own mind and introspect and see what's going on. What am I feeling? Okay, I feel rejected. I also felt infinitely sad about the abusive behavior. What you said to Pat also made me infinitely sad. Nobody in the world, no one should be attacked You don't want to be attacked by anyone. Okay? You feel attacked by something that's not even an attack, that's not even in any way meant in a disrespectful way. Okay?
You okay now?
Yeah, I'm making a video. You feel attacked all the time if someone like Tamwar, you can't laugh about that. You can't even laugh with him. No, you said you want to kill him. You blocked me just because I was having fun with it. I was laughing with Tamwar. That's why you blocked me. Because you felt disrespected. You felt disrespected very easily. If a woman knows more than you, you feel disrespected. This should all be a red flag for you. You should see that and say, no more. I don't want to live my life like this anymore. With that kind of egoic reactions to all kinds of stuff all the time. No way. That's not the way to exist. That's not the way to live your life. Okay? That's just miserable. I don't know if you can receive that information, but I have to protect myself, okay? I'm on my healing path. I have to protect myself. I cannot go in the chat room anymore. I have to do something else. Then I'll just have to get into researching things again and spending my time with that. I'm going to be watching, when we come back from the trip, I'm going to be watching a lot of documentary films on psychology and personality disorders, because that interests me the most, and also the paranormal interests me very much. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky said, never use the paranormal for something that comes from your ego. Okay? This is the universal law. Okay? Use it to make the world better. Use it for love. Okay? Use it to help someone. That's very important. Okay. So I also want to talk about Marina Abramovich. I very, very much love the artist Marina Abramovich. I've known her for a very long time. Her art performances already in the 80s. And it's shocking and it's absolutely impressive. The kind of art performance that she has made that were much more than art performances. They were eye-opening psychological experiments that she did on herself. She tested herself. She pushed herself to the ultimate extremes many, many times in those art performances. Some of them I can't watch. It's too painful for me to watch. And I don't agree with all of those art performances. No way. Having meat, mountains and stuff like that, I don't agree with that. But there are some things that where I see where she's coming from and what she wants to achieve. Her main goal was really her own healing path in this lifetime that she lives right now as Marina. To push herself to the extreme limits and to see where her breaking points are, or how much she can endure, to become tougher and to see past fear. That's really what it is. To transcend fear. And there's one art performance that is much more than an art performance. It is much more than a psychological experiment. That goes into metaphysics, that goes into the paranormal, and that goes into deep, deep inwardness, meditation, therapy. Okay. And it goes exactly into that direction that I personally have been thinking about my entire life, and that I want to create. Right now I'm doing this on the internet. I might create a Facebook help group. Okay, a therapy help group. I've been wanting to do this. Maybe I'll do it tonight. So we'll see. Or when we come back. We need those Facebook help groups. The suicide prevention group is already very good. They're doing very, very well. I appreciate them very much. They're helping a lot of people. We're helping each other in there. And that's what matters. Marina Abramović did an art performance in New York a couple of years ago, where she sat on a chair with a very, very long dress, beautiful, beautiful dress that covers the ground, and she sat there with another chair in front of her, and there were people. They were covering the streets in New York. 2222. Thank you, Blue God. The angels are protecting. The angels from the Blue God are protecting us. And all of these people, they wanted to participate in that. They heard about this and they wanted to participate. They knew her, they're fans of her. They wanted to sit in front of her in that art performance. So big, huge, long lines, and this went on for several weeks. Where people, they actually camped out there. They slept there just to keep their spot so that they can sit in front of Marina in that art museum. And among them was a little boy, a little black boy came there, and he was so excited. What a sweetie. He was like, I don't know, he was like 5 years old. And he said to his mother, oh, I'm excited. I want to sit there in front of Marina. And he sat in front of, and she had the warmest, sweetest smile on her face. And all she did was, everyone who came there to sit in front of her, was she sat there with 100% attentiveness and presence. And the art performance is called The Artist is Present. Okay, and that's all it was about. She wanted to be there present for anyone who wanted to sit there in front of her. And give this person who was temporarily sitting in front of her 100% undivided attention. And the key was to look them in the eyes, just like I look myself in the eyes right now. And just sit there and breathe. And the other person too, not saying anything, just sitting there. That was really also the requirement for every visitor, to just sit there and look into her eyes. and see for how long you can sit there before you get uncomfortable and you have to leave for whatever reason, yeah. Psychologically or physically. Yeah. And she sat there for like 8 hours non-stop on that chair. That's another self-test, of course. Pushing herself to the limits. Every day for like 3 weeks, she sat on that chair for 8 hours. Just looking into people's eyes. And that little boy made her smile. And she just gave him unconditional love and attention. And the little boy was so deeply touched by her. I think that made him cry. He was so deeply touched. And then there were other people. There were Asians. There were some Asian girls. They looked at her and they came in there like with their mobile phone and all of that. But then once they were sitting there in front of her, they were just looking at her. And I saw some video recordings of these people's faces, the stages that they were going through. And this one Oriental girl, she went through all kinds of different stages of conscious awareness while she was looking at Marina Abramović. First it was, being starstruck. Then she got used to this. Oh, she is giving me undivided attention. Me? She probably never really got that attention. Well, I can relate to that. And then getting used to it, and then she looks in her eyes and gives her this unconditional love. And the Oriental girl starts to, first she was smiling, then she was getting really serious. And then you can see she was going into her own mind in that moment. She was given that chance to go into her own mind. It suddenly felt safe to do it. And then she saw this unconditional love, and then tears were just streaming over her face. Face completely changed, like from the technological kind of facial expression, like we're all in our heads, we're all mathematical. Yeah, here are my gadgets, and we're like always politely communicating. And suddenly there was this depth. Total depth of inwardness suddenly. And worlds of emotions were suddenly coming up that she wasn't even consciously aware of. And the tears were streaming over her face. There's a realization happening in that moment suddenly, like there are insights happening where she realizes, where she sees the contrast suddenly. Here's someone who gives me this undivided attention and unconditional love. And I look into myself and I see, I never experienced this before in my life with anyone. Not even as a child when I needed it so much. And then the insights come, the awareness about it comes. Deep pain and deep sadness can come up with that, where we realize we have not received that. And we haven't received it when we should have received it. We were not loved for no reason. We were, without being bad girl or bad boy, without this connotation, we were not loved because our parents couldn't see us, because they were bloated and loaded and overwhelmed with their own egoic self, me, loaded brain with their own selfish needs and so on, prestige and all the society pressure and all this, workplace, friend circles, events, and they don't see their own children in all of that. And all of that comes into awareness. It's a therapy process. What she did was therapy with people. That was intensive therapy of inwardness meditation. That is the most fascinating thing I have ever seen in my entire life. This was way more intense than primal therapy. Way more intense. It was so focused. In primal therapy, they were all overloaded with their stuff. Therapists too. So because of that, it was more sluggish, that process. But still was good. It was going in the right direction. But with Marina, she studied Zen and meditation and inwardness and Vipassana and all of that. She's been in all of those countries. She's seen these places in person. She has exposed herself to all of this already. She's been in China. She walked on that great divide, on that wall. She walked on that wall of China for, I don't know, several months or like half a year or something, to meet her boyfriend in the middle. They did those kind of things. She spent much time with indigenous people, monks, and she really wanted to take all of that in and really learn and experience. Not from some kind of cushy place, from some kind of luxurious hotel. No, she was diving right into it, right into the middle. A brave, courageous soul. That is amazing person. And what she has done with this art performance is, I find it revolutionary. I don't know if other people recognize that, but that is exactly what Jiddu Krishnamurti is talking about, is this undivided attention. And he said there are people like this in this world, but they're very few, and they can give that. There was a fundamentalist Christian lady who came there, a hater of her, okay, a troll. She came there and sat in front of her. She elbowed her way into it. And she didn't even obey the law, the rules there. She looked at Marina with hatred. And I think she insulted her also a whole lot. And Marina didn't say anything. She just sat there and looked into her eyes for, I don't know, for 10 minutes or 50 minutes. I don't know for how long, but long enough to make Marina cry. Marina was crying, looking into the eyes of that fundamentalist, rigid, bitter person who just wanted to come there to insult her and to be offstandish. And I don't know if Marina caused something in that woman, opened something up, some gateway of consciousness. I don't know if she did. I don't know if she was able to reach her. That fundamentalist lady is a psychopath. It's all about her. It's all about defending her religion, which she identifies with. That's ego. That's not love. There's no kindness in it. It's selfishness, and it is viciousness. That's why I always say religion is vicious. Religion is making people crazy. We need to dissolve that. It's very important. And there were many other people who sat across her, looking into her eyes, and many people were crying. The tears were just streaming down. The facial expressions, they were going from like party, distracted, ADHD to shock. Like, oh, I've never seen this before. I've never felt this before. There's someone who loves me, someone who gives me this undivided attention. I matter. I matter. I matter to you. Wow, that brings the tears down. I'm telling you. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Look it up on YouTube. You'll find some video clips of that art performance. Some amazing things that were happening. The face changing. The entire personality changed in these people. There was the real person coming up that was never there before, the real inner child that was never there before, that was all covered up by I'm okay, I'm good, I'm adapted. Suddenly the real child comes up, and the real child is alive with all of those emotions in all people, in everyone, in women and men, okay, boys and girls. There is no more hierarchy or dualism or some society role attributions. Okay. And when you can be you, the inner child, then you can embrace everything about you. You can embrace all of your body functions without shame. Okay. We're not ashamed about our dog going to the bathroom, right? Paul is even so. Paul took it to such an extreme with his shame, he couldn't even look at Samantha going to make him pee-pee. He said, no, I can't look at her because that will make her, that's a projection from him. Maybe the dog feels also a little bit better if nobody is staring at them right now. I mean, anyone staring at someone is making someone, staring in a weird way, is making anyone kind of feel weird. But I have never seen that with the dogs. The dogs don't care. They didn't seem to care. But, my dog goes to the bathroom, pee-pee and poo-poo, and that's normal, that's a body function. Why should we feel in any way ashamed or this is good? He has good bowel movements, it's healthy. We have to have bowel movements. I mean, it's important. You have to get detoxed. Your body has to constantly be replenished and renewed with tea and water. I drink water and tea all day long. And it feels good, It feels real. Particularly when you go under the shower, you sweat. You come out of the shower, you have to drink a whole lot to replenish yourself with water. It's very important. And eating healthy food, whole food, fresh plant food, raw plant food, organic, wild harvested, pure. Feed your body good things, not alcohol, not toxic drugs. Okay, it's very important. Marina Abramovich, she lives very pure. She does not put poisons into her body. And look at her, she's over 70 years old, and she looks like 40. Okay, and that's why, because she takes good care of herself. And she's authentic. when you are authentic, you don't have stress in your system. If I'm authentic, why do I need to feel stressed, right? I don't need to feel stressed out. If I would give a presentation in front of 1,000 people, I would be very stressed out. But that's still because of my trauma, okay, that I'm trying to heal. I was at the point where I couldn't even make a video like this. This is a very long winding evolution for me. To come to this point where I give a completely unscripted presentation like this. The presentation that comes out of my mind and soul. That comes out of a meditation instead of some kind of pre-laid out concept or something. Sometimes I think about this is and this and this and this is what I want to cover in the video, but only roughly. I roughly keep this in the back of my head. Sometimes I even forget about those points because then other things come up that I find more important to focus on in that very moment. But yeah, I have been thinking about talking about Marina Abramović in this particular art performance because I think it's very important. And I also want to talk about the rat now towards the end. And last but not least, of course, the rat. That was so incredible what I experienced the other evening. 2 nights or so ago, I was out there under the apple tree. Paul had a little fire on. The rat didn't like that fire. And I was standing there under the apple tree and I was singing to him. You beautiful little thing, da 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 da, like this. And I went on and on and on with the singing, and the rat wasn't anywhere near, and I thought he was sleeping. And I was singing and singing, and suddenly I see him climbing up there, those branches, and then making his way towards the branch where I was standing and coming right up to me. Coming right up to me while I was singing. And I was so deeply touched by that. That was so beautiful to see his long body coming out there, feeling relaxed with my singing, liking that. And I felt like I can almost touch him, and pet him. That's a wild rat. And then I thought, this was a very strong. I already knew this before, but it was a real strong insight again. And that insight was right then when the rat came towards me. The insight was love is universal. Love is a universal thing. It's a universal energy. It's Krishnamurti is talking about. Chitta Krishnamurti talked about that. That's the infinite. That's a universal energy, love. And people can't take that in or understand it until they come to this point where they step off that self-aggrandization, where they humble down, come down from that pedestal, okay, that egoic pedestal, come down from this self-thinking. Because that self-thinking is a state of stress. 4. Self-thinking is a state of stress. And it's not good. But the ego gets addicted to it. And then you go into a dopamine addiction loop with it. Because it sheds out some endorphins. But that's a lie, all of that. Those endorphins, that's an addictive stuff. Even if it's created by your own body. That's stress, that's not total relaxation. Total relaxation is stepping away from the ego, dissolving the ego, coming down from that pedestal, humbling down, and being in the now moment, and being there with that other living being, and feeling him 100% like Marina Abramovich felt those people. That's how I feel the rat and every animal. I don't know if I can do that with humans. I don't know if I'm there yet. I want to be, I want to heal, because I understand that every one of you is a rat and an ape, a monkey, horse, dog, just like them. Okay, we're just like them. The human ego is just more complex, more convoluted, and brings with it so much suffering. Okay, this is very tragic. We can heal this. I believe that we can heal it. I believe it. Okay, and I want to do everything I can to make it happen, to create a world in which we can heal. Okay, you guys take care. Bye.